Got a couple more things for room 102, Carl?
My problem with me restless leg syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
If I could put that in.
Right, okay.
What is this problem?
The problem I've got with my legs, how they sort of come alive at night.
And what
Tap
are they out
dancing,
doing? Yeah,
like
yeah.
bed knobs and broomsticks.
Yeah.
I sort of go to bed, I'm tired, and then I sort of nod off for about 40 odd minutes,
Yeah.
and then my legs go,
Right.
and I can't sleep. It's really depressing. I think it's actually affecting me sort of health-wise, because I'm not sleeping right through the night. It's like I want to
And
sleep.
what does
wouldn't
Graham say? What does Suzanne say?
Well, she's annoyed with it, because she's getting loads of bruises. Kicking her.
I did a little bit of research on restless leg syndrome when he mentioned it to me. And two little bits of information you'd be interested in, Steve. It is exacerbated and made worse by a sedentary lifestyle,
Right.
lack of activity, lack of exercise, and it can be alleviated with the opposite of that: exercise, leading a more active lifestyle. Which proves my point.
No,
You're like a slug.
I do loads of walking. I make sure I do a good walk. If anything, it's because I walk too fast, because I tense my legs up when I walk. The doctor didn't say anything to do with that when I told him about ages ago. He said it was because I was eating ice cream.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know who
Because
this
something
doctor
that's
is.
in ice cream. He just
Is
said,
this the same doctor that said your nerves are too long?
Yeah. No, it's a different fella. This
Right.
is the proper doctor. But yes, I've cut that out, and it works for a bit, but now it's got to a point where I have to go to bed, and I have my legs outside of the bed. I have to put my feet on the floor.
What do you mean?
What?
I have to lie in the bed, like
With your
normal
feet on
position,
the
but I
floor?
have to stick my legs out and feet on the floor.
That's insane. You can't sleep like that.
Well, I do. I nod off, and then maybe in the night, when I wake up, my legs are back in the bed, so either they get bored, or they uncomfy or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they eventually get tired. But it's kind of like, if I have them there, it's like they think they're awake and they're being used. The only other thing I can do is if I lie on my front and then have my legs in the air.
Well done. Whoa! You lie in the front and have your legs in the air.
Like that. Say if that's my head.
Oh, like
Go like that. Like a scorpion.
like the front cover of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. If I do that, I think if I can get the blood out of my legs, they don't work the same.
Is this advice from the doctor or?
No, I
Is
did
it
that
this
myself.
doctor? Was he from the 12th century?
No, that doctor didn't tell me to do that. I sort of did it.
You
I
just
thought
wrote
that works.
that
I nodded
brilliant
off.
piece of information.
What have you put this into the Royal Society of Surgeons?
What?
Well, this discovery that if you lay...
No, it's my cure. I'll use it. It might not work for everyone.
And so crazy leg syndrome is destroying your...
Sleep.
Right.
And it's important to get sleep, innit? If you can't sleep, it drags you down. And my legs, they just come alive at night. It's like they belong to a runner or something. And they want to run. And I'm going, I just want to sleep.
But why don't you run?
Why don't you go for a run?
Because it's late at night.
Yeah, but go for a run in the day. Tire them out.
Fine in the day.
Tire them out in the day.
Tire them out in the day.
No, you
Go
don't.
for loads of walks in the day. Loads of walks.
So if you were to go, you go to bed, you got restless leg syndrome. If you were to go for a run, that would cure it. I've looked it up.
No,
It
because
does.
I do have long, proper walks.
No, but if you
If
immediately.
anything, it's like the legs like it, and they want more of it. It's like a puppy. You take it for a walk, and it's jumping up and down. I want more walks. Well, you can't have a walk. We had a walk earlier. Go to sleep. They're fine in the day. Whilst I'm sat here, they're not probabling me.
They're not what?
They're not probabling me.
Okay.
Not probabling me.
They're not.
Makes up words.
They're not giving me any grief whilst
They're
I'm sat
not
here.
probabling me.
But when night falls, it's all going to be different.
It's like they go, I don't want to go to sleep yet.
Like
It's like a
voodoo
little
legs.
kid. It's a kid who wants to stay up in case it misses something.
Yeah.
And that's why I just have to let them stay up. Stick them out the bed.
I love the fact that you go to bed before your legs. Oh God.
It's annoying. I mean, it's really...
Well, I don't know if I can put in
Your legs.
restless leg syndrome because, as I say, it can be easily cured. You could get up, you could do a bit of exercise, you could walk around.
But I've tried all that, Doctor, and it doesn't work. Do you suggest anything else?
Right. There's your problem. He's not a doctor.
No, exactly. That's what I mean.
No, well, I'll put it in. I will put it in if you try that. Next time your legs are outside the bed, Gay, say, okay, listen, I'm going to go for a run, put on a sweatshirt,
No, because
Put on some shorts.
it's always late at night. I'm not
Yeah.
going out. It's dangerous.
So you go to bed at 11:30.
Yeah.
Go for a run at 11:30. 11:30. 15 minutes.
So are they going in or not?
No, because you're not. I'm not sure that you're doing everything for it. What's your next thing to try and get in room 102?
It's a tricky one. This.
Go on.
It's people who think that humans are special. Do you know what I
But
mean?
you think that.
No, I don't. I don't think humans are special. I think
what-
some of us are. I think you get the odd one who creates something, and you go, that's amazing. But the way we say the human race is amazing, no, it isn't. A small percentage of it is. There's a load of numbnuts. And it annoys me how people say the human race did this, human race. No, it didn't. Let's name them, because there's only a few people who have done stuff that matters.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, definitely. We just thought, we think we're good and we're not.
But who matters? Just before we get on to your point. So you're putting in the rest of the human race.
No, just people who say that they're good. People who have said that statement that isn't the human race an amazing thing.
So anyone who's ever said isn't the human race amazing
yeah,
goes in room 102.
Yeah, I'd say don't be stupid.
So most of the human race is going in.
Well, have you ever said it?
Well, I think all species are amazing.
But when people say the human race, they sort of mean
They think what you mean, that you can go
great people,
the
great
art,
minds.
Inventors, the things that were, that we've.
And how is the human race not amazing?
Because we're not needed to keep this planet going. We're an added thing that was
We're at
added
the top
on
of the
later.
food chain. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We were added last.
Yeah.
It's like there's some room left. What we do, stick some humans on.
But don't forget, this thing of we being added doesn't make sense because it was a process. There was no point when someone goes, "We don't need this. Let's stop now." We kept mutating and being selected.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes you can keep. It's going back to what we were talking about last time about. You've got a house, you fill it with stuff. At some point, you've got everything you need. You've got your kettle, you've got your fridge, you've got your telly.
It could have stopped at slugs.
Then
It'd be
you've
fine.
gone, I'm buying this.
But no,
ornament.
nothing needed anything.
Yeah, it did. The world needed. I mean, okay, I tried to put slugs in, you didn't allow them in.
Yeah.
Fair play to the slugs. They must do something somewhere.
Yeah.
Just not in my house.
But it could have stopped at slugs. They got it right. What's this thing that you need? Anything else? The slug evolved.
No, but we don't add anything, do we? All we've done since we've been around is mess up the world.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm saying we're not needed. I don't know what the last thing was that was needed.
No, we're not needed. We're not needed.
Yeah. So what was the last thing before?
Doesn't make any sense.
What was the last thing that was invented by nature?
It's arbitrary. It's a stupid
what
question.
do you mean?
It's not a stupid question.
Everything is just happening. It's evolving now.
Right, look at it like this. You see, we think we're important because we just do. Well, I don't, but some do. And they're the ones I want to get rid of.
Another argument with himself.
Now, we think we're special. There might be something else going on that's more important. We're in this universe, aren't we?
Yeah.
They're trying to make a new universe.
What do you mean?
There's a machine somewhere.
What?
A Big Bang. They're making a Big Bang again.
Right, well you've got that completely wrong, but sure. They're not trying to create a new world. They're trying to recreate the conditions that happened at the beginning of the Big Bang. They're not trying to recreate a new world.
Alright, but the
It's
world
completely
came...
different.
But the world came from the Big Bang.
Yeah, they're trying to recreate the conditions so they can test and they can experiment to see
Dangerous.
the conditions before. Yes, it is dangerous. Apparently there is a threat. Admittedly, there is a danger, very small danger, that they could create a black hole that would destroy the world.
So why are they doing that? Who's allowed that? This is what annoys me, it's because humans think they're special. Oh, who made the Big Bang? Oh, I'd like my name on that. I want to claim it. Why do people always want to better someone else? It's happened, let them have it.
Well, don't you? What you said about progress, you're trying to change time.
Yeah, but that's not going to harm anyone. A Big Bang. I don't think we need... I mean, we haven't filled this universe yet, have we?
But what you talk about, I don't know what you're saying. You're contradicting yourself. Every other sentence contradicts what you said last time. You do want to fill it, you don't want to fill it. We haven't filled this universe, we don't need another one. We do want progress, we don't want progress. Carl, what do you want?
I'm saying we don't want another universe.
Well, no.
We haven't got our head round this one yet. We don't know where everything is.
But go on.
Don't create a new one.
We're not trying to. No one's trying to.
Is that your philosophy? Don't create a new universe.
But why are we
It's a
looking
giant
at that?
research experiment.
Why are
They're
we
not
looking
trying
at
to create
that?
a new universe.
Why are we looking at that then? Why do we want to go back to day dot?
So that we can better understand the world that we live in, how the world evolved into the position we're in now. If it did indeed start with the Big Bang, what were the conditions? How did it come from nothing into something?
That's what we do. We say why and how.
I know,
and
but
when,
sometimes...
And what next? And is it good?
You know, I don't mind asking questions. I like asking questions. Ask a
Yours
question.
are where are slugs going?
It's just this thing of faffing about with things that they don't know what they're doing.
Okay, right, okay, Carl. You're in charge of the world now. You are this... You're all-powerful. You're like a god, okay? You can do anything. You call all the scientists, and they go, what do you want of us? Oh, orange-headed one. What the fuck do you want of us? Right? Right. Stop the Big Bang research. Stop it now. Okay? Okay, drop your talk. Okay, good. Throw that away. What do you want them to do? The might of every intellect in the world standing before you, as far as you can see. Hello? Listen, everybody. This is what I want you to work on. Go. What do you say?
Well, I want to come in and... How long have they been working on the Big Bang idea?
Forget it. You've got every science...
No, but I don't just want to come in and poo-poo that, because they're going to...
Poo-poo.
They've done a lot of research on
Hold on. You wanted to stop a minute ago?
Yeah, I know, but you don't just come in, guns are-blazing. I'd say, hello,
You can do
everyone.
anything you want. Oh, go on then.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Carl, leader.
Right, listen, this Big Bang thing you've been doing...
Yeah, well, that's just only a few of us. That's like less than 1,000,000% of us. We're all here.
Yeah.
I've dropped AIDS research. I've dropped cancer research.
Right, well, why have you dropped that? Who's told you to do that?
Well, no, we knocked off. They said you wanted to tell us something. We're all here. Every scientist in the world
Well,
is
listen,
here.
where are you from again?
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm from Cornwall. I'm looking
No,
at...
what research are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm looking at, what happens if you give Feminax to an owl.
What happens?
Well, I'm halfway through it. I got called away.
Look, I'm really busy. What do you want me to work on?
Who said they're doing cancer?
Hey.
Go back. Go back to work.
Cheers.
Right.
Okay, the rest of us doing stuff that you think we're fanning around with, what would you want us to do?
Well, I can't do it all today.
What about me? I was doing AIDS.
Hang on a minute.
I was doing AIDS.
You just wait a minute.
Right, okay, why does cancer get to go back? Are you saying that cancer's a bigger problem than AIDS?
You go back to work.
So AIDS can go back. I'm doing restless leg
Right,
syndrome.
can everybody but the Big Bang people leave? I met Derek Akora the other week.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Who's he? Which one's he?
He's
Is he a medium? He can contact the dead, is that right?
he just chats to him and that, passes messages on.
Nice of him.
So I said, oh, tell us something a bit weird and that. So he said, what do you want to know? I said, just something weird. So he goes, all right then. He said, here's one for you, right? And he said, there's this pub out in the country. And he said, there's this mug. Do you know those old mugs that they have? Where they used to like leave their own cup knocking
Like a
about, didn't
tankard.
they?
Oh, yeah.
Tankard thing.
Yeah.
So there was one of them mugs in there, right? And everybody...
Tankard, let's use tankard if we've
All right,
established
so
that's the word.
tankard, yeah.
Because you're the only mug in this story.
Right,
Believing it all.
High five. Great.
So this tankard's knocking about, right? And everyone who's running the pub keeps going, oh, I wish they'd stop leaving this tankard about, right? And they pick it up.
It must be a pain. Having a tiny, small tankard in a pub. That must be a real grind.
So every time they sort of picked it up and went, we'll have to wash that, and they popped it on a different sideboard. Next thing you know, that person who's touched it died, right?
Sure.
So
They must have been getting through bar staff.
So they kept getting in new staff and that. And they were like, what's the connection here? Right?
What's the connection here?
Oh, God.
So they get a vicar in,
Of course they do.
and they go, look, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. This tankard, every time someone touches it, they die. So he said, leave it with me. He gets his special water out and what have you. He comes round, does a little prayer, sprinkles it. He goes, right, not a problem, don't worry about it. He picks it up, chucks it in the bin. Guess what?
What?
Dies in a crash on the way home. Because he picked it up.
Well, but Carl, you're telling me this like it's fact, and I'm meant to go, that's
Derek
amazing.
Akora, he told me.
Carl, I have no opinion of that story, other than I'm pretty sure there was absolutely no connection between touching the tankard and him dying. That's all I'm sure
It's
of.
not just him though, is it?
I'm not going to even contest the chain of events. all I'm saying is there is no connection. There is no connection possible because I believe in logic and the laws of the universe.
Yeah, but what I mean, you never pick up a vibe of... I've got a mate, right, who he's living in this big stately home, right, and he's living in there now. He pays £100 a month. There's about 80 rooms.
Gee.
And it's this big stately house and what have you. And I went down there. He said, "Oh, come down and have a look," right? And from outside, you go, "Oh, this is brilliant. It's like something out of, you know, like the Man of Born or something." You go, "This is impressive." But then when you get in, it's like it's a wreck. And we go in, and all the floors are like a wreck and rotten and stuff. And I looked at the wall, and there was like a little piece of paper stuck on the wall, right? And I said, "What's this here?" So I wandered over, right? Got right up close to it, and somebody had roted.
Somebody had roted.
Oh,
Somebody had roted.
Right, go on, sorry.
So there's a little sign there, right? And I go up to it, and it says "flies," right, with an arrow. Flies, like flies this way, right? I think that's a bit weird. So I follow the arrow, right, which goes to this corner where there's a shelf, about 3,000 dead flies on it.
Oh my God.
Condom stuck on the top. You might remember in the first podcast, I was telling you about this scary house that my mate lives in, where he's like a security man. You're not like a security man, are you? What are you?
Well, I just look after it.
You just look after it and that. He just looks after it. So this is it, because I thought I'd show you around it, because just in case you thought I'd made it up and that, about the bit about the flies and all that, where there's flies on the shelf and stuff. So this is the sort of state. I was telling you how it's a mess. This is it. Ceiling's caving in over there. It's just there. Pair of pants. Right then, we've found the room that I was talking about on the podcast, with the dead flies and that on it. This is the sign that I was telling you about. Got a fly on it, right, little arrow. There's flies here, look. Little ladybird there. Oh, flies attacking the ladybird and that. Right, so you've got that. So follow it along. Right, you think, well, there's nothing there. And you've got, you can get the camera up there, right? Look at that lot. Where the dead flies. I'm just showing you this because some people have said, "Oh, you made it up and all that." But there's no way, just for the sake of the podcast, I'd go around collecting that many dead flies. There's a condom as well that I was talking about. Weird, isn't it? That's weird, isn't it?
That is weird.
That is weird, right? So I'm looking at that, and there's loads of stuff on the floor and that, bits of paper. Picked up this bit of paper, right? And it had, like in biro and that, it looked really old, like it'd been there years. And it had something like, "Need nappies, dummy," right? Blankets, blah, blah, all this, like, all stuff for, like, and I turned it over, right? And it said, "None of this now needed, baby dead."
Right.
Now that's weird, isn't it? Now that's what I'm talking about when you get a bad vibe. You go, that's who's been in here.
It's bad vibe. It's just based on the fact that
Your mate's in charge.
yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, yeah, so it's like saying, are we scared of the dark? Yes, I understand why people are scared of the dark. I'm a little bit scared of the dark. You're walking along.
Because you don't know what's in it.
Yeah, you don't know what's in the darkness. That's why people get nervous. It doesn't mean you have to make the leap then that you've got some paranormal sense. Oh my God, I'm Karl Pilkington, and hang on, just like Derek Acora, I have sensed something strange and evil in this room. Wait a minute, there's some flies in a condom. I was right all along.
That is weird.
Flies in a Johnny equals badness.
the flies in the condom was weird.
It's weird. I don't know.
But the note.
Yeah.
I just think of his face when he saw that, reading it by torchlight. You must have been terrified.
It's a bit odd, isn't it? Right, and there's this one.
I say, show me that you've got one.
No, right, and there's this one that's knocking about,
Go on.
that what it is. Say if I'm in a pub, right, and I'm just doing a crossword or whatever,
Unlikely, but go on.
and there's some woman who's walked in, right, and she's staring at me.
Yeah.
I know she's looking at me, and I look up and I look round. She's looking at me,
Right.
and they're saying that's a new sense that they found out from, like, you know, doing tests and what have you.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
And they're saying
okay.
that's been around
Well,
since like man and dinosaur was knocking about.
They've stopped.
No, they've
because you-
explained
I
it.
think it's safe to assume that, you know, that with your perfectly round head, people are always stopping and
No,
looking.
but they
I mean,
explained
that you
it.
just know that there's probably going to be someone there if you
They,
look right.
they said it's from the time when, like, caveman was, like, wandering about, and he'd go, hang on a minute, and he'd look round, there's a dinosaur there, or whatever, and he'd
Right,
leg it.
this is nonsense.
It's
One,
not-
I hate when people use the term when caveman was wandering around. Caveman and dinosaurs, oh, they used to live together, yeah. Oh, that's the same era. Yeah. What have you been watching? Raquel Welch?
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean caveman wandering, knocking around with a dinosaur?
You know, the Flintstones is only partly based on fact. Dinosaurs and man did not coexist. The dinosaurs had long gone before man arrived. Extinct. Kaput. You don't believe us?
What, you don't believe because you've seen...
Because you saw that film where they took pictures of lizards and magnified them and put them next to men in film so they looked like they were fighting.
Yeah.
No, but why couldn't that have happened?
What is the film with Raquel Welch? A Million Years
10
BC.
A million years BC or
A
something.
Million Years BC. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
She had a sort of woolly mammoth bikini. Fact.
why wasn't the dinosaurs back then just like how we have dogs now, in a way?
He's watching the Flintstones.
He's watching the Flintstones.
He's thinking of the Flintstones. That's what he's
when
thinking.
he puts out the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Dido
And he
puts
mixes
in.
his concrete in a pelican.
Yeah.
I just think that there must have been a crossover point.
Why? Why did you say that? Why do you think there must have been?
There
a
must
crossover
have
point?
been.
Because if nothing was knocking about at any point, how did anything carry on?
I know. Exactly. Why didn't Hitler meet Nero? It's weird, isn't it? There must have been a crossover. They must have met somewhere. They must have met at a party somewhere.
They mixed in similar circles.
Yeah. They must have bumped into... I can't believe it.
I forget it.
Oh.
What's your next one?
Okay, number 2.
People who don't want to do what the brains would be better at doing.
Right, okay, no, I'll get around that sentence. Now, tell me again.
Brains that don't want to do what their owners are good at.
Ah, so now it's the brain's fault. Before you said you were going to put people in who don't do what their brain's good at, but now you've changed that. Now you're putting the blame on the brain. Now you want to put in brains who don't want to do what their owners are good at. I like the fact that you own a brain.
Okay, no. I just need a bit more clarification, Rick. Before you ask questions, can you just expand on that point, please, KP?
Do you know, like, people decide what they want to do,
Right.
don't they, for a living?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they're not good enough.
Right.
You mean they have a dream and they can't fulfill it because they haven't got the skill or...
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not good for anything.
No.
It's just that they haven't unlocked the thing that they're good at,
Right.
which is fair enough. You can't always find what's going on. There's a lot going on in the brain.
Yeah.
You know, there might be something up there that you just never find, which is sad, right?
Right.
But
You mean you may never discover your full potential because you may never stumble across it. You may never have the means.
Yeah.
But that of course, yeah.
I only got into hospital radio because my dad was in hospital, so I found out about this thing and I thought, I didn't even know this existed. I want to go
Well,
at
of course. So I mean, there's much bigger issues there that the poor working class people don't get the same opportunities. People in the third world, when you're worrying about whether you're going to live through the next few days, you don't start thinking, I wonder if I can play the cello.
Can I refer you back, though, Rick? You made an interesting point there, but I fear that's not exactly what Carl was saying. I don't think that his point was quite that profound.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something to do with the brain not allowing its owner.
Yeah, because that's the bit that annoys me. Fair enough if a brain hasn't decided what it wants to do, because you
What is this?
Let him finish.
God, this
'Cause
thing
it hasn't
about the
finished.
brain
Shut up.
'Cause it
being
hasn't-
in charge like the numbskulls.
because it hasn't found its destiny type thing.
A brain hasn't
But
found its destiny.
when someone is good at something and they know the brain is good at something, but then they don't want to do it and they want to go off and do something else.
Sorry, who's to blame here? The person or the brain? I'm talking like him now.
Don't know what's
Who
going
are
on.
you putting into room 102? What annoys you? A brain that doesn't let its owner know what it's good at, or an owner that won't do what the brain wants to
I think
do?
it's the owner, because say like a bloke who's good at plumbing,
Yeah.
his brain loves plumbing. His brain loves plumbing. He's sick of plumbing. So he goes off to try and
Unplumb.
No, he's going to do something else.
He's going to do something else.
He's carpentry.
Now, they say in this country the problem is we haven't got enough tradesmen.
Right.
We don't have enough plumbers.
Right.
There's enough plumbers' brains.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Shut up.
What are you talking about?
Shut up. Let him please finish.
Because
This is like beds and pillows
brains
again.
have not changed over the years. The brain is exactly the same. But it's the owner of the brain that's in charge. The brain could be going, I want to go for a walk, or I want to go and find something out. But if your body's too lazy to get up and go and see the stuff, the brain isn't going to get what it wants.
It doesn't make sense, Carl.
Alright,
you are your brain.
Let
Okay, you could have a good point if you said this. You could say that everyone's brain has the ability to become a plumber.
Yeah.
You know, your brain, yeah.
But I don't know if it has, you see, because this is the thing. When I was younger, when I first left school, I had 2 jobs I wanted to do. I wanted to be a joiner, right? Or a car mechanic. I had a go at sort of joinery. Couldn't really get my head around it. Right? Did work placement at a garage, messed it up, got kicked out.
What did you
now
do?
The thing is,
why did you get kicked out?
Just because I messed the garage up.
What? How did you mess it up?
The fella he's a bit moody, this fella, and he just decorated his garage. And
You are like the slug in this scenario, aren't you?
He just, like the paint the floor and everything, make it with lines in it and everything like that.
Right. What did you do?
And he painted it white. You shouldn't have white in a garage. Stupid with all the oil about and that. It's not the right colour, is it? It's like getting a white sofa. You're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
So he'd painted it all, and then he sort of said, "Do you want to change the oil on the car?" So yeah, go on then. So what do I do? He said, you pull the sump out, stick a bucket underneath, catch the oil. All right then. Go down there, pull the sump out, hold the bucket, but because of the pressure, the oil doesn't come straight out, it floats out sideways. Went all over his white floor, he went mental, kicked me out. Now the thing is, that wasn't really my fault, my brain didn't know. It was showing an interest.
No, what? Right.
Let him finish!
Oh God, what does he mean?
Shut up,
the
brain-
fault and my
Please.
brain.
The brain was showing an interest, but at the end of the day, if it hasn't got the knowledge, what can it do? Now, you could say, was that my fault or my brain's fault?
No, I'd never say that. People may be in the wrong job. You might not discover what you're really
Yeah, but I'm
brilliant
talking about, you get people, alright, let's go to the extreme. People with no legs who want to be swimmers. Don't be stupid.
Oh God!
I'm so annoyed. Is this a big problem?
It's madness, isn't it? It's mad that the brain wants to do that so much. The brain's in the wrong body almost. Yeah. Are you in me?
No.
A plumber who can plumb is annoying when he jacks it in as a living because there's other brains who can't do plumbing. They don't get their head round it.
This means.
Look, you must have learnt the same stuff at school as me, but a lot of it wasn't interesting to my brain. I wasn't bothered. It wasn't into taking it in. Yet look at me in like editing and all that. I can use all that equipment because my brain's happy with it.
Yeah, you found something you're good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why aren't I good at plumbing or joinery or being a mechanic?
You're probably not interested in it.
I loved it as a
Some
kid.
people do have different brains. People are different. Some people are more higher logic, lower emotion.
That's
you
what
know?
I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't know what you're putting in room 102 because you're saying it's like this brain's wandering around looking
to
for a
blame?
body, and he goes, "Oh, I'll choose that body. Hang on, this body doesn't even want to do some plumbing."
It's a matter of taste. It's just a
sometimes
matter of taste.
It's good to do what you're good at and stop chasing a dream.
This is the most complicated thing. You could just
is.
put in noisy kids. Like, Ricky, why is this is a brain that
Because
doesn't
someone
work.
else would have done noisy kids. There's no point everyone putting in the same thing.
But
in this
I don't
room.
even know what your point is here.
For example, what I put in were parents who ignore their kids running riot in a restaurant or on a train. The arrogance of them thinking that, isn't it fun? That there was someone to blame. I was basically putting in bad parenting, or there was someone. I wasn't going a brain who wanted to be a plumber, but the plumber didn't.
I'm not putting the brain in. It's just people. If I had a really good skill, I'd hope that I'd use it.
You don't know what you're good at until you try it. You might be the best drummer in the world.
I know, but they're the people I'm having a go at. They're the people who I'm having a go at. The people who know they can do something, but they don't do it.
So people who don't fulfil their own potential.
That's a good one.
Is that a better point?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But there's nothing to do with this duality, this brain versus person. I don't know what that is. It's a weird thing you've got. A really weird little kink you've got, that you think this brain is another entity that lives in your head, that you own it, and you've got to become the master of it. Like some sort of weird dog. Who am I talking to now, Carl or his brain?
We're both listening.
Well, I will put in people who don't fulfil their full potential. Slugs are safe, but people who don't fulfil their full potential, you have got into room 102.
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Now, you probably know me from such works as The Office and Extras. Stephen being my co-writer and co-director on those things. For those people who are not so aware of Karl Pilkington, he was our producer, sort of given to us when we first started on XFM. And you're thinking, well, why are we doing a podcast? It's because I like to be in a room with Karl Pilkington. You know, like some people go and help sort of chimps.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, they go to the jungles and things.
Help out little sort of endangered
Diane
species.
Fossey or whatever.
Exactly.
You're very
yeah.
much the Diane Fossey of the Manchester scene.
Of the little bald mank world. And Karl Pilkington is an ongoing experiment for me, because I've seen him blossom from an idiot into an imbecile. And I want to see it through. Look at the way he's looking at us. Look at that. He's got a perfectly round head. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. Karl, what do you think about all this?
It's just, I mean, we are living in that sort of era now, aren't we? That you need to be able to listen to stuff on demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you? Or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned?
I'm warming to it, but
This is what's amazing about Karl. Even though he's talking about things like MP3 players, computers, iPods, he sounds like he was found in a glacier and thawed out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sort of taught to speak.
We're a couple of high school guys who found him, and we're trying to ingratiate him in the gang, trying to pass him off as someone from the modern day.
no. But my thing with iPods is, now, do we need them? Do you know what I mean? We're living in that era now where we have invented most of the stuff that we need, and now we're just messing about.
They said that in 1900. Someone actually said everything that's to be invented has already been invented. They said that in 1900. And how wrong were they?
No, but what came out? At what point? What was invented in that year where they went, right, that's it now?
The 20th century. Think what happened in the 20th century.
Go on.
Well, planes.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Planes and that. Do you need a plane, really? Wouldn't it have been better if we all stuck where we should be instead of travelling about? War. Well, look, war's happening, isn't it? Because everyone's saying, well, now we can fly, we'll go over there.
So there were no wars prior to the invention of the aeroplane?
Not like there is today.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the world's got smaller, hasn't it? Everyone's saying that, right?
Yeah.
The way I was saying to you the other day, we now go to places where we shouldn't go. People go on holiday to places where you've got to have an injection before you go there.
Yeah.
Forget it then. That's a warning. Don't go there.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to enter a country where I have to have an injection to stop me from dying while I'm in that country.
Right,
I totally agree with you on that.
So what happened is, they invented the plane, and it's like, oh, let's go on holiday, and then they go, oh, I die now. Oh, well, you've got to invent something. Let's invent an injection. And then it's like, right, well, what else do we need to go to that place? There's a lot of faffing. So what I'm saying is...
Is that a place? A lot of faffing?
What I'm saying is, Steve's travelled more than I have. You've been to, like, dangerous places.
I've been to places where you need injections, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's fascinating, isn't it? Don't you not believe in that idea of travel broadens the mind? It makes you experience other ways of life, other ways of thinking. It just enriches you as a human being. That's the whole reason people go travelling.
But since the invention of the telly, you don't have to go that far to see it.
You're absolutely right.
So there you go then. The telly was the 20th century, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So where would you stop then? You'd stop making stuff now? Stop inventing stuff right now?
If we're going to invent something, right, forget, like, the traditional way of people having kids, right? The way they, have it away in that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, like the way that, we have kids and stuff. If it'd be good if what happened was to control it is if man and woman, right, they're born and that, they enjoy their life, they learn a lot, they live to be about 78, I think, by that point.
So specific.
Yeah, 78,
No,
yeah.
but by 78, I reckon you've sort of got to that point where you go, do you know what, I've done everything I'm going to do. If you haven't bungee jumped by the time you're 78, you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like...
Your hips come off.
You've done it all now,
Yeah.
and then you die, right? So say if everyone had that, they live to be 78, but then just as you die, you have a little baby inside you, and as you die, your life carries on.
Sorry.
How is
are
this
you-
happening?
Sorry, are you mental?
No, but don't you think...
I mean, what? I've never heard such drivel.
You're saying that, but if Newton said it, you'd go, interesting. That's what annoys me.
I
The
love
point
it.
is, Carl, he never would. He'd
what?
never say it. That's the point.
If you never
don't-
say it,
I don't understand what you're talking about there. What? How was it? How is there a little baby in a 78-year-old?
No, what I'm saying is it's like an apple, where the apple grows and it's got its little baby pips in it, and the apple goes and the seeds are planted and a new one's born.
But that's what happens.
But that is what reproduction is.
Yeah, but I'm saying babies aren't being born left, right, and centre. It's controlled, so that as someone dies, someone's born.
But Carl, stop. Whose responsibility is
Look,
this?
if you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But I'm
is it
just
supposed to be nature? Has nature got to develop humans so that we act that way? We live that way,
What I
or is this a
like-
scientific
What
experiment?
I like, he said to you then, he said, look, if you don't want to do it, we don't need to do it. Like, if you were up for it, we'll sort it out. We can do that.
We'll have a whip round so we can do the research.
I just think at the end of the day, we've got to do something. And is anyone keeping an eye on this and looking at what we can do next to control the population thing? It does my head in that I've got to live in London for work and what have you. And there's loads of people here. And, forget going out on a Saturday night, it's too busy. And you can't move and they keep... I mean, what annoys me about London
So
is...
your solution is that 78-year-old women have little babies inside them, and as they slip away into death, the little babies... And how is that baby then
Who looks
raised?
after
Who
the
looks
baby?
after the baby?
Because it's a pretty good system having a baby while you're young enough to look after that baby and make sure it lives to, reproductive age itself.
I mean, that system's been working for years.
Nature's sort of sorted it out. Natural selection and evolution sort of makes that a good model.
But wait a minute, nature. Pop that on hold, because Karl Pilkington's got an idea.
Yeah.
That's what it was, just an idea.
Yeah, well, it was nonsense. But thank you for it.
The worst I mean, it was the ramblings of someone you'd find by themselves in a hospital eating flies.
This is the sort of thing you find when, if they find maybe a pamphlet or a booklet written by a psychopath. Someone, just before they went on a rampage and then turned the gun on themselves, they go through their possessions and they find a book and it's got weird drawings, women with knives in their face, and this kind of
In
garbage.
fact, I saw a similar sort of theory written out on a wall, but it was written in shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is, I think it's when people die normally, everyone's fed up about it, aren't they, and a bit down. But if when you pass away, you go, oh, we're gonna miss Gladys or whatever. But then there's this new life brought in. It's almost like a bad news.
But
good
you're
news.
talking about it like someone could pick this idea up and run with it. Like you've given them enough information to do it. How is this possible? Where does she get the baby from? Why does it grow? Why grow it in Gladys's belly? Why not have it in a drawer?
But what I'm saying
Upstairs,
is-
ready to go? Just add water. I mean,
Who looks after son of Gladys?
Look,
there is no theory here. There's no. It's the ramblings of a madman.
What I'm saying is, though, the body's always changing, innit? From caveman to now, or whatever.
In some
changing.
cases.
And they're always finding out more and more. Like I read the other day about how they're saying, do you know, like they say, people have 6 senses.
Yeah.
There's loads more than that. Right, and there's this one.
I say, show me that you've got one.
No, right, and there's this one that's knocking about.
Go on.
That what it is. Say if I'm in a pub, right, and I'm just doing a crossword or whatever.
Unlikely, but go on.
And there's some woman who's walked in, right, and she's staring at me.
Yeah.
I know she's looking at me, and I look up and I look round, she's looking at me.
Right.
And they're saying that's a new sense that they found out from, like, doing tests and what have you.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
And they're saying
okay.
that's been around since like man and dinosaur was knocking about.
They've stopped.
No, they've
pursuing-
explained
I
it.
think it's safe to assume that you know, that with your perfectly round head, people are always stopping and
No,
looking.
but they explained
You
it.
just know that there's probably going to be someone there if you look
They
right.
said it's from the time when, like, caveman was, like, wandering about, and he'd go, hang on a minute, and he'd look round, there's a dinosaur there or whatever, and he'd
Right,
leg it.
this is nonsense.
It's not-
I hate when people use the term when caveman was wandering around. Caveman and dinosaurs. Oh, they used to live together. Yeah. Oh, that's the same era. Yeah. What have you been watching? Raquel Welch.
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean caveman wandering, knocking around with a dinosaur?
You know, the Flintstones is only partly based on fact. Dinosaurs and man did not coexist. The dinosaurs had long gone before man arrived. Extinct. Kaput. You don't believe us?
What, you don't believe because you've seen...
Because you saw that film where they took pictures of lizards and magnified them and put them next to men in films so they looked like they were fighting.
Yeah.
No, but why couldn't that have happened?
What is the film with Raquel Welch? A Million Years
10
BC.
A million years BC or
A
something.
Million Years BC. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
She had a sort of woolly mammoth bikini. Fact.
why wasn't the dinosaurs back then just like how we have dogs now, in a way?
He's watching the Flintstones.
He's watching the Flintstones.
He's thinking of the Flintstones.
Yeah.
That's what he's
when
thinking.
he puts out the saber-toothed tiger
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Dido
And he
puts
mixes
in.
his concrete in a pelican.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Carl's favourite song.
Okay, again. Okay. I'll have to do. I'll tell you that he's got a favourite song.
Are you just
For a
going
reason.
for one or two?
Oh, no, I'm going to go for a couple here. I'm going to go for. They've both got a theme, and then I'm going to do tune as well. Okay, I've got two songs, and then I've got like an instrumental.
Right, I'll go for Stranger on the Shore, Acapulco. Alright. And then I'd go for Elvis in the Ghetto. You getting them?
Yeah.
And there's one more, yeah?
Yeah.
Rod Stewart, Killing a Georgie.
Oh, yeah. No, I went with Stevie Wonder in the City.
That's alright, that's up there.
Yeah.
Not
He likes
bad.
he likes a song with a story. So anything. I'll tell you another one as well. Wonderful Tonight.
Yeah, that's...
Like that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Convinced it's about a disabled fella. Because the lines she puts him to bed, stuff like that.
There was a few little hints.
It's not a hint. It's nothing to do with it.
Listen to it
Nothing to do
at
with
home.
it. Nothing to do with
Click
being
on it.
disabled. No, at no point is it
There is.
mentioned or no.
There is.
No, it's all in your head.
Any others?
Let's go for one more.
Oh, I'll tell you, I'm gutted about the old pork chops.
You've got to be careful with pork.
Why? Worms.
It's got to be done, yeah. It's got to be cooked right, hasn't it?
Yeah, but now they do things like pork.
This just comes from the man who put sausages in the toast.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point.
Carl's favourite animal.
Right.
Wow.
So you don't mean a pet,
No, I'm not.
This is broad, yeah.
just any animal out there?
Yeah. You got it.
No, it's funny because I reckon he's got this one wrong.
Oh.
I reckon he's put down monkey. But I'd probably pick sloth.
Can we see the
I've put chimp actually.
There you go.
He lumps in great apes with monkeys. He doesn't really know the difference. Funny you should say the sloth because he went to the zoo and he called me up and I went to the zoo. What did he do? He said, "What's the sloth?" He said, "It's annoying." I went, "Why?" He said, "It's got a huge enclosure." I went, "Why is that annoying?" He went, "It doesn't need it. It doesn't use it. Hang it in a wardrobe. It'd be just as happy."
Didn't move. Didn't move in all the time I was there. Looked dead. I actually thought it was dead. 14 quid you pay to get in there. It didn't fucking move. Didn't do anything.
Why is it your favourite animal?
I think because it just fascinates me that this thing, that a dodo died out and yet a sloth
So
is still
it's easy
around
to say.
even though it's asleep.
Yeah.
Is that, it's safer in a sort of a dead state.
Dido died out as well, didn't she? She
Dodo
has been
died out.
for years.
Um,
That's the Dodo and Dido. Didn't do anything.
Alright, let's go one more. If Carl could have a superpower, what do you think he would pick?
Wow. Okay. Okay, I've got loads of answers here. I think the general public would know one of them,
Oh, yeah.
but they're not. That's a joke one.
No, that was a new idea, but you mean one that exists?
Well, okay. Let's not count bullshit, man.
Right.
That's not really a
cancel bullshit,
superpower,
man.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I mean. That's a made up one. But you're talking
Exactly.
about one that people go, yeah, I'd have that.
Flying, invincibility, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, I've got one. I don't know if it's true. I mean, it's a bit weird.
Can't please reveal.
It's one that I'd pick, but I'm still not 100% if it's the right move. I don't think you've gone for it.
Oh, I've gone. Okay.
Shape-shifting.
Oh, I went for invisibility.
We see the patterns.
Sorry, I went for invisibility.
Why shapeshifting over invisibility?
Just because you know what shape-shifting is, you can sort of be anything you want.
What would you be now?
On a day like today, probably a blue bottle.
Why would you be a blue bottle?
So there's the right weather for it.
But
But I'd only do that for a bit.
No, they haven't. No, that doesn't make any sense. Why is it, you see them in this weather because they're buzzing around and it's their time of year where they've.
Yeah,
But we don't have to be a blue bottle to enjoy the weather, do you?
No, but I've got to be something else, haven't I?
Yeah, but why a blue bottle? That's
Well, what would you pick on a day like today? You wouldn't want to be a buffalo, a bison in this. Be well hot. So a blue bottle,
why
out
not
and
a
about.
dolphin? It'd be...
In London.
It doesn't have to... So now you're a blue bottle who's got to go on the tube and go to work. Now
No,
you're
I mean, I'm
6
in
foot blue
London.
bottle.
I'm in London though.
But
You've
see-
still got to be at home. If you're a fucking dolphin, where are you knocking about?
I didn't know the restriction was the fact that you had to be caught in the city.
Well, how would it? So where's the dolphin?
Oh, so you can completely change your species, but you can't move fucking town.
Well, then you've got to get home again. The shape shifting, you know what it is?
Yeah, you can change into a blue
Anything,
bottle.
anything.
Yeah, but would you be a 6 foot blue bottle?
No,
or-
just a little one, and then you do that for a bit, and then you
But
change to
why are
something
you
else.
doing it? What are you thinking? Have you got
For
your
a
own...
change.
Yeah, well...
You said it all right. You picked invisibility. What would you do with that?
No, that wasn't mine. That wasn't my superpower. That was my guess at yours, right? Because once you said you wish you were invisible, so you could go sneak into HMV, you go shopping without having stress, pay for it, and leave in the morning.
Yeah, but
that was your
yeah,
superpower.
but that's when
paying for it
CDs was
secretly.
out. It's not worth it now, is it?
No.
No fucker's paying for anything these days on the internet. Download for fuck all. So forget that. There's no advantage. Being a blue bottle.
Yeah, what are you doing? So you go, I'm in London. Oh, there's a bit of shit there. Oh, I'm glad I'm a blue bottle. So, but what if you're shape-shifting? Why don't you be a seagull and go to Brighton for the day? No, it's not the rules. You've got to stay in London. Why are you imposing this rule of it being in London?
I'd give everything a go. I just picked that because it was a nice day and I saw one earlier.
Okay, what if you could shapeshift, but it was like changing your region on your DVD? You only had 3 goes. What would you try and then stick with?
Ooh.
Remember, the world is your oyster.
Right.
You don't have to stay in Kentish Town for the day.
Well, I'd pick what's her name? I've said to you before. I'd be
What,
a
a Bananarama?
sloth.
Oh, you'd be a sloth.
I said that. It's still good, isn't it? Because if they're asleep, if I'm not enjoying being a sloth, I can dream about being something else. So it's a safe thing to be. Well, if you're asleep, you can. What's the problem?
You can anyway. You can wake up and go, oh, I wish I was a blue bottle. Or some
I've
shit.
never seen a blue bottle asleep.
Listen.
I called you the other day. You said slugs don't sleep.
No, you called me and said, do slugs sleep?
Yes, and you said, what did you say?
That's it. You got it all the wrong way around. I said, well, sleep as we know it is very different. You know, some have microsleep, some can estivate, some can actually be frozen.
all right.
So I said, what do you mean by sleep? Right? So,
Butterfly.
why?
If I wasn't enjoying it, it's only for a day.
And then you die.
Yes.
But then you're dead.
Yeah, but if I'm not enjoying it,
But why do you... What?
the worst thing would be a tortoise.
you don't have to be a tortoise.
I don't fucking know, then. What's something else? I hate questions like this, because you ask me, I give you an answer and you argue with me. I've told you, I picked 3 perfectly decent things there.
A sloth.
A blue bottle, a butterfly.
Right. Why did your
Can't be
superpower
bothered.
be flying? Then you could be Karl Pilkington.
Because Suzanne will be saying, no.
Why?
Because Suzanne will be going, oh, nip out and do an errand. Suddenly I'm flying around everywhere, busy, because she's going, it's easier for you. She don't get her arse enough as it is. I don't want flying. And everybody would be on your back, and no, definitely not.
Why choose a blue bottle and a butterfly? That's
Because
their
no
job.
one's... Yeah, but that's as a fly. Everyone's expecting it to fly. And then when I go back to me, I'd appreciate... I've always said to you about not knowing if I feel well. Whereas a blue bottle, it spends its day flying around being sick on shit. So if I come back to me and I'm like, I feel really good now, I'm not throwing up all the time. And
Right.
so there's benefits to being a fly. I think I'd appreciate life more once I'd seen it through the eyes, many eyes, of a blue bottle. What would you pick? Let's change it, because it's unfair this. What would you pick? Any shape-shifting?
Definitely. I'd pick either a bird or a dolphin. Just soaring. An eagle soaring. I thought we could play Room 101, the popular TV show where people cast the things they hate into Room 101 forever. Room 101, of course, is taken from George Orwell's 1984. Room of all your fears and terrors, and so.
Is there a copyright issue here? Can we steal this idea?
Well, yeah. Well, let's play Room 102.
Clever.
This is the room next door to Room 101, which is worse, in my opinion.
Is it?
Oh, Winston Smith. He'd love to be in Room 101 if he went to Room. He'd go, oh, get me back to Room. I didn't know where. Oh, I didn't know I was born. This is much worse. So, Carl, these are things that really annoy you. Don't put in things like, you know, cancer and racism. I mean, that goes without saying.
They're already in there.
They're already in there. All the terrible things in life here. This is just your little bugbears, the things that really annoy you. That, you know, well, I actually did the real show, and I put in things like lateness. That's my bugbear. I can't stand it. I think I put in parents who let their kids run riot. Parents who think that everyone is interested in their kid as much as they are. I remember I was talking about this family, right? They were passing the baby around in a restaurant, and it was like being sick, and they were all shouting about it, and I was thinking, oh, and I got onto, oh yeah, they were breastfeeding it, and at one point I went on this sort of like digression about a friend of mine who moved to the country, and the woman next door, sort of this hippie woman next door, about 40, you know, one of those sort of like long grey hair, you know what I mean? Shave your legs and stop wearing flip-flops. Yeah. And they said, oh, we're just neighbours, and we brought you round a rice pudding. And they gave my friend a rice pudding. And she went, oh, it's made from breast milk, because I'm still lactating. And I went, thanks very much. And of course she went and they threw it away and washed the dish and gave it back to her. And it annoyed me. The arrogance of coming round and saying, it's rice pudding made by breast milk. Get out of here, you dirty hippie.
Is that what you'd have said, though, if she'd arrived at
No,
your
I'd have said, oh, do you know what? I'm breast milk intolerant. No. Well, I remember the next day it went out on television. A journalist said, "Oh, Ricky Gervais showed his misogynist side." No, I stand by it. I stand by it. I don't eat strangers' breast milk. I'm saying about it, totally natural. Well, it's not okay. Yeah, it's a cum sandwich. It doesn't matter if it's natural. It's fucking disgusting. Don't make me a rice pudding out of breast milk. You know, I'm not a fussy eater.
Sure. Well, you are.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean.
Surely you'd draw the line there of a stranger's breast milk.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Any kind of jizz clan.
Jizz flan, do you know what I mean?
That's giving you an example of the sort of thing that one might put into Room 102.
Yeah. People who try and make you eat their breast milk disguised as rice pudding.
It's quite a specific fear.
Yeah.
That one.
Graham.
Oh, come on. He doesn't deserve that.
Slugs was in there.
Slugs. So, And then there's you have to put a case forward, and me and Steve decide whether slugs go in or whether they stay out, whether they've got a purpose.
It's just because I'm having a problem with slugs at the moment. There's a lot of slugs coming in the house.
Why?
Don't know. They can get where like water can't. You know what I mean? Because they're boneless, aren't they? So
Well-
I need a little gap.
So is water boneless? There's not many bones in water.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah, but you're saying they can get somewhere that water can't.
Yeah, no, they're even more likely to because they sort of move about and that, and they're looking for light. Water's just happy where it is. You understand what I'm saying?
Why banish them all to room 102, slugs? Because they're harmless, aren't they?
Yeah, but I also think, I mean, at the end of the day, they're happy wherever. So stick them in room 102. They're not bothering me, and they're happy. They're not bothered what the room is.
No. This is a metaphor. Room 102 means they disappear from existence. There's not really a room where you put in slugs with people making rice pudding out of their breast milk. There's not really. No, it's not. You can't rent that room. We're saying, would you take slugs out of existence?
That's quite a tough call, isn't it? Because everyone's going to have a go. But I don't know what they do. All I know is they're clogging up my piping. I had to go out and buy a plunger. I hadn't seen them since, like, comics when I was a kid. And I suddenly thought, I need one of them things that I always saw in comics. I never thought I'd need one of them in my life. It's 2008. I've got slugs in my pipes. So I went out, £3 it was. I had no idea what the going rate is for a plunger.
Where did you go and get one?
It's a hardware shop round the corner. So I went round there, I said, you got a plunger? He said, what size do you want? I said, what size have you got? He said, we've got 3 different sizes. I said, I'll have the middle one. So that was £3. And took it back, gave it a bit of a plunge. And I think it was slugs. Like, all like bits of black stuff came up. I think it was slugs in there, like broken up slugs.
Well, hang on. That could just be black gunk, couldn't it?
No, it looked very sluggish. Because remember, I've had a problem with them anyway. I'll go to the toilet or whatever, look round, there's a slug climbing up the wall out of the shower basin thing.
Are you sure it's a slug?
Yeah, definitely slugs. I have to keep chucking them out because I don't like killing anything.
Right.
I don't want to kill the slugs with slug pellets. I bought some copper ribbon.
Right. They don't like going over that.
They don't like that.
They get a little
shock
charge. Yeah.
But now that should be a warning. But instead they're diverting. They've done a diversion. They've gone up the wall and across. Now it's like that's a warning. That's like having a no trespassing sign.
Yeah.
And they're just going bollocks to that. And they're getting in. And it's annoying me. And now you get to a point when you do say, well, if they carry on like this, I'll have to kill them because they're not. How much?
They're not playing by the rules.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the purpose is. They just sit there still. I don't see them doing anything. I was looking at one close up.
But what do you want to do? Be
life on it.
reading Rousseau. What do you want a slug to do?
In the same way you see a bee collecting pollen, good, he's doing his little work.
But
ants carrying big leaves or whatever.
But
a slug's just sat in the
they're
middle
all
of the
doing the
kitchen.
same thing. They're all doing the same thing. That slug is out. It's eating. It's finding
there's
food.
No food. There's no food in our kitchen for a slug. Believe me. There's not enough there for me sometimes. But never mind a slug. There's nothing for it. Definitely not in the shower. What's he doing? So I told you ages ago about how they cause more problems than good. They eat cabbage,
Right.
when they shouldn't be. They get in letterboxes and nick stamps.
They don't nick stamps.
They eat the stamps. They like the glue on it.
Right.
Right.
Is this a big problem, though? Is there an epidemic of slugs eating stamps?
But I think it is, and that's why they're so slow. I think they're sweating glue.
And it's slowing them
They're
down.
eating all them, and that's why they're sticking to stuff. Have you ever picked up a slug? Well sticky. They give off this glue. It's like all the glue they've eaten off stamps. They panic, and when they sweat glue.
Sweat! Think of a slug! What do you mean they sweat glue? You're making up nature. This is like Attenborough, but made up.
When you see a slug,
Yeah.
you prod it, it gets nervous, it wants to run off. But the problem is, because he's sweating glue,
It's not sweating glue!
it makes sense.
That's
It's just a nonsense theory.
It's just what I've noticed on them.
Right, Rick, do you allow slugs in room 102?
Well, I think we should, if they're going to be gone forever, then we should put a case forward. They're amazing creatures.
If you haven't got them in your house, it'd be different. All you've got is people coming around saying, do you want some rice pudding? That isn't a world problem.
That wasn't me.
Right, whatever it was.
No, but they're amazing. They've got 2 sets of antennae. The one at the top is for light, and the next one is that They can smell and get food in the air, just the slightest.
What do they do for the world?
They're food. If only.
It's not good enough, that. It's not good enough.
What do you mean? Like that's the ultimate sacrifice. Surely them being food for
Who's
something.
eating them?
Hedgehogs.
Do they like them?
Yeah, they love them. They love slugs.
Do they?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you're always going to upset someone, aren't you? With anything I put in room one.
No, you just got to make a reasoned case, and I'm not sure that you've argued well enough.
I'm just having problems with them at the moment. I spent £3 on a plunger, and I don't like the idea that every time I get up in the night to go into the toilet or whatever, I've got to put the light on because I might have a bit of sluggage between my toes.
Sluggage, a little bit of sluggage between the toes.
But I mean, if you're going to put everything in your house that causes problems, what else are we going to have here?
No,
boilers.
I'm not. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, you only moan about what's fresh on your mind at the moment. And I haven't, I've got to go to that house, and I dread to think how many slugs are going to be stuck to the ceiling and everything.
Right, okay, so we need to move on. So, you are not putting them in?
I'm not putting slugs in.
Alright, slugs have not gone in, Carl, I'm afraid.